Hello students. Now we're gonna start our ecology section. So ecology, there will be two parts of our discussion. In the part one, we'll be discussing some of the species, some very small session it will be, and the part two will be a relatively long session. Part two we'll be discussing some of the things like uh, initiatives. We will discuss the UNCCD this time because it happened in this month itself, right? Okay, so let's start our part one. So starting with Great Indian Bustard. So it's the state animal of Rajasthan. It was in the critically endangered species. Now it has been normally found to be extinct. Currently IUCN has not updated its list, but it has found to be extinct. Okay, so I currently it's an currently critically endangered species under the schedule. We will discuss Wildlife Protection Act in detail. Don't worry about it. But Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act, it is found. So it is in India, it is effectively only home to one. India is the only home of the bustards, especially in the Rajasthan district, the state animal. Apart from it, state bird, sorry. Apart from it, MP, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra, they were found, I should say. Okay, so few of the things such as they are thrive in the arid grassland. They are the insect eaters, right? And they are endemic to Indian subcontinent, not only in India. So we have to remember that they were endemic, I should say, because now they have not been found, right? So few more details, such as they are in appendix 1 of sites, we have already discussed sites, right? Covered under Bonn Convention, CMS. We'll discuss Bonn Convention because in January, I think India has the COP of Bonn. Okay, in Gujarat, it is an indicator species for the grassland habitats. So if your grassland habitat is really good, and if your Indian bustard is present in a grassland, is in a habitat, that it goes to show that the grassland habitat is really good. Important thing with respect to Indian bustard, with respect to the apart from these things, is Project Godawan. Project Godawan by the Rajasthan government. Okay, so for the conservation of it, of the Great Indian Bustard. As I told you, it is a state bird of Rajasthan. It is one of the species in the recovery program under the. We'll discuss recovery program in the next session. Recovery program is important for our prelims initiatives. It is not a current affair. It is an earlier program, but this particular species, Great Indian Bustard, is part of the recovery program of the MOEFCC, right? Okay, next is critical wildlife habitat. So critical wildlife habitat are, for example, we have discussed tiger reserve, right? So remember, critical wildlife habitat will be the part of the inside area, the core area, where there will be inviolable, where there should be nothing, which should be the critical habitat for the wildlife. Very easy, right? In the tiger reserve, we've talked about core area and the buffer area. So within the core area itself, there will be some area identified in which there will be no human interference at all. Okay, it is defined under the Forest Rights Act. So first thing you need to remember that it is defined under the Forest Rights Act as the area of the national park and the sanctuary where it is specifically and clearly established that it should be inviolable. There should be no human interference to it. Okay, so that is the important thing that we need to know. Next is Project Elephant. So Project Elephant is started in 1992. It is under the MOEFCC and currently Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change currently sponsored scheme. One of the objectives of the Project Elephant, apart from the protection of the elephant and all this one is important: welfare of the captive elephant. Because if the third option is given like that, then we will be confused. So remember that obviously Project Elephant will try to reduce the man-animal conflict, but the captive elephant thing can be misleading. So remember that it is included in the Project Elephant. Now we have discussed tiger reserves in detail. Why have not discussed elephant reserves in detail? Because they are not that much important as compared to the tiger reserves. Okay, that is there. You need to remember that India has need to know just that India has 32 elephant reserves and something like that. Okay. Next is which state has the highest population of elephant? Karnataka. One more fact you need to know. Okay, so this is Project Elephant. Next is that is Elephantine project. So there's a very different project, Elephantine project. So Elephantine is started in Kaziranga National Park. The idea is to give the highly digestible milk to the elephant calves. So the child of the elephant, giving them the milk for their own nutrition and protection. Now coming to the next topic, great dying. So what is the great dying? The great dying was a period when um, after the Permian geological period, it was a period when around 70% of the species perished, existing species perished. Okay, so it was a period of mass extinction, that is the great dying. Okay, so it occurred around 252 million years ago, mark the end of the Permian geological period. So at the end of the Permian geological period, this mass extinction happened. After that, again, life started. Okay, so why it happened? Because of the marine poor, responsible for the marine poor oxygen and increasing temperature. Okay, so what I want to tell you that why it was in the news, basically when the current dying, the current period where because of the global warming, we have seen many of the species getting extinct, right? Great Indian bustard, and we will see two more species today. So when all these species are getting extinct, we are entering into the phase of new dying, right? Again, the species will be reduced. So that is the Permian period. So that is, I think you read it in your geography about the different geological scale. I don't want to go into that, but just want to highlight the end of the Permian period. Okay. Okay. So this is what you need to know. So after Permian period, the great dying started. The great dying happened after the Permian period. Okay. Right. So the great dying nearly erased life on the earth, and scientists see similarity to today, and that is a very horrifying things. So about 252 million years ago, in the geological phase, 70% of the earth land species and 96% of the all the ocean species vanished. So that is the great dying. Okay, right. Quickly, Indian pangolin, very famous and very intriguing creature. So Indian pangolin is a endangered species. It is a very long tongue. If you go to the YouTube, watch the video of the long tongue. Okay, so it is the only scaly mammal on the planet, and its scales, we will see the image, then we'll understand that its scales are used for the medicinal purposes. That is why it is being poached, hunted for demands of the scales in China. And Chinese pangolin, with respect to Indian pangolin, there is Chinese pangolin, and it is the critically endangered. Chinese pangolin is critically endangered. Indian pangolin is endangered under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. Okay, next is that is the Indian pangolin. So that is his, you can see his tongue, right? Very huge tongue. In fact, his tongue is said to be more than the longer than his body. You can see the pangolin tongue is more than his body. It has no teeth. Consumes 70 million ants a year. So many ants eats in the air. So the pangolin scales, like rhino horns, are made of keratin, that human hair, and has no medicinal values. Okay, but however, these scales, I'm sorry, this is not there. It has not there. It has a medicinal value. That is why it is being poached. Okay. Next is vulture conservation and the breeding center. So vulture conservation, the breeding center. So this particular is being established by the Bombay Natural History Society. Okay. So India has many vultures which are critically endangered. Okay. So we have many vultures. So three species of vulture bred in the VCBC, that is the Vulture Conservation Breeding Center, are white-billed, long-billed, and slender-billed vultures. So many of the vultures, and with respect to vulture, one question has already been asked to us, that is with respect to diclofenac. Why the population of the vultures are declining? Because of the drug diclofenac that is given to the animals. So animals, cattle, to treat inflammation. Diclofenac was given to the cattle to treat their inflammation. When the vulture used to eat on their carcass, because of when the carcass they were eating, so the diclofenac goes into there, and it will cause harm to those. Okay, so the idea of the VCBC's Vulture Conservation Breeding Center is to look after these vultures and breed them. So it will be a in situ conservation. It will be a ex situ conservation kind of a thing. Okay, so there is a vulture center set up in Haryana, right? So diclofenac worming. Next is Microlia here eos. So very like different species of frog has come in the Arunachal Pradesh in the Namdapha Tiger Reserve. You see, I agree that these are relatively very tough things to cram, right? But if you just see it and just to remember it with figures, there are only very few things which are very tough to cram, right? Apart from the other things, the things are coming naturally. There are very few things which will be relatively tough to cram, but we have to cover it. So, a new frog species has been found in Arunachal Pradesh in the Namdapha Tiger Reserve. We have discussed Namdapha Tiger Reserve in our Tiger Reserve series. Okay, so they are a group of the narrow mouth frogs that is primarily and widely distributed in the Asia. They are commonly known as the rice frogs or the chorus frogs. Okay. Now I was talking about the desert extension and due to desertification, and we have discussed that with in the next ecology series, ecology part, we'll discuss UNCCD and how the land degradation is becoming a huge problem. Along with that, we have already discussed how Great Indian Bustard is an indicator species of the grassland. So when the grasslands are not there, bustard will not be there, and that is why it is said to be an extinct, and they are said to be extinct in India. Indian cheetah, pink head duck, and Great Indian Bustard. Okay, so these are currently found to be extinct in India. Next is two new plant species has been discovered in the Western Ghat in the Shola forest of the Western Ghat. On your end, in the geography complementary static read, you have to read what are the Shola forest. What are the difference between the Shola forest and the other forest? Because that Shola forest is very important. Okay. So the latex in the plant parts and the Papua seeds are the general characteristics of the family, not important. So what are the two plants basically? Typhora balakrishnanani. It is the name of the one plant species, and the other plant species is Typhophora neglecta. Okay? So these two are found in the Shola forest. Again, not very important for UPSC, but just for the sake of the comprehensiveness, we need to cover it because the question can be asked on it. So if they ask a very tough question on it, they will give an option that Typhophora neglecta and the Balakrishnanani, what are these things? So they are just the plant being found in the Shola forest. That's it. If you remember that, and that is there. Next, Jatropha. So Jatropha, very famous Jatropha used to create biodiesel. So Jatropha is a plant that is used to create biodiesel. Okay? So it generates the biofuel, specifically the biodiesel, and it has been used with the air turbine fuel, with the combination with the air turbine fuel. So Jatropha seeds contain 35% of the non-edible oil, and it is a very drought-resistant variety of plant. Okay? This is Jatropha. So how they make it? They cultivate it, they crush it, they make a oil of it. So it is also used as the insecticide and the fungicide. It is used in the diesel engine. Okay, so that is Jatropha. Next is bioremediation. So bioremediation is the treatment of the pollutants or the waste by the use of the microorganism. When the microorganisms, for example, there is a waste and you put all the microbes in it and they degrade this thing, this is bioremediation. Very easy. Okay, so they break down the undesirable substance. Okay, very specific thing, or specifically they are being used in the oil spills, contaminated groundwater, industrial process. So how they do it basically? For example, this is a polluted area, right? So they inject microbes. So microbes will go, they will use the oxygen and the nutrients, and they will degrade it, and they will convert it finally into carbon dioxide. When their degradation happen, carbon dioxide will produce, and you can see the recovery can be done. So this is bioremediation. The last topic of the discussion, very small and very factual, very static video is. I know that this lesson is very factual, very static, but we have to cover it. Next is biomining. So that is the use of microorganisms to extract metal for the economic interest from the rocks to mine waste. That means the use of the microorganism to extract the metal. So it will degrade for example, this particular rock is there, and this is the undesirable matter, and this is the metal. So the microbes will degrade all this undesirable thing, and the metal will come out of it. Okay, so it is used along with this purpose. They are also used on the sites where it has been polluted with the metal. So you can see many of the places it has biomining is being used to for the waste management. Okay, so that is biomining. So remember, biomining, from the name itself, it seems that biomining is only for the mining purposes, but also it is for the solid waste management of the solid waste, right? So that is there. And with this very small session, Ecology 1, as I told you, Ecology Part 1 will be very small, so it comes to an end. In the Part 2 is relatively long. There I have discussed some of the more details. So see you in the next class. Thank you everyone.